was deported. I didn't know. He came, and I will never forget that because I don't know, Reverend Monomoyini Accra, Kumasi Home Store. That was the first time they opened Kumasi Home Store. So, come everywhere, there was no shoe. So I decided, of course, I was Sunyoma for Kriam to Buye. Now, we bought Kukotna baby crab. I called many Christmas, because Swan watching, who are Bantama race course. So, some ladies in the house convinced me to go home. When I went, they gave me good slaps and sent me back to my village. That is how come I finished it. I went to Asylum and then straight to Asylum College. So when my auntie saw my clothes, they were in a plastic bag. She got furious. That time my mother was in Accra. She got furious, insulting my father. And the next day she put me in a train to Accra here. When my mother saw my things dirty, she started crying and asking, what do you want to me to shoe? Yeah, my shoe now says some requirement because of the slab. Way simple. It's $1,800. The slab that they gave me, my father gave me, I said to myself, one day I'll be somebody. So please, don't take these achievements kindly at all. What free SHS details have come to understand how we implemented this free SHS. So please, be proud of yourself that you belong to a great political party. No jobs. What MPP did in between 2017 and 2019, I will say 2019 because of COVID, 3 years, MPP has helped private sector, businessmen, entrepreneurs to establish businesses. And before the election, 232 companies under various stages, 76 were fully operational. Now the question is, if every government in 4 years, if not the COVID, definitely all the 232 companies will be working. Now let's take it for argument's sake that 76 every 4 years from Rollins time, 76 companies established every 4 years. From 1981, calculate and multiply it by the years, and you get the number of factories in this country. So 232 factories within 4 years. Brothers and sisters, it's a great achievement. And let me see those of you from Central Region here. Good, Central Region. Do you know potting? Potting. Do you know the pottery farm over there? Who knows potting? What is happening there? See, there's a pottery farm that was completely collapsed. Now potting pottery farm is revived. It's working. When you are going to that, in fact, that place is very close to Winnipeg, but they say it's Gumwa East, where the guy is using potato for flour and other things. It's a new factory that the loan that was given to him to establish that is 14 million Ghana cedis. And do you know the number of people he employs? Now, just as you pass that factory on your left, you see the Chinese company, the paper product. also on your left. See, a lot of things are going on. Who knows this, what's his name? There's a poultry farm. Okay, one at Sepasi in Ashanti region, 2 Dako farms, and 1 other manna farm, something. All their poultry farms have been revived. It's working. It's working. See? So we have 76 already operational. I've not cross-checked from January to May what others have done. But I can assure you, our factory is coming up. We're going to commission it in July. Cassava starch. When we go to Agyapong, you will see. We're coming up with different, in fact, all that I'm saying, my personal businesses that I'm doing, it's not even counted under one district, one factory. You have not taken any loan from government. No banks. At least I have 5 projects. One is completed. I'm waiting for the Dubai people who said they brought the machines to come and commission it. Others are also in various stages. That's why I always have severe pains here. Thinking. We are pushing the economy. And it should be employment, employment, employment. So factories, factories, factories. Industries, industries, industries. That is what MPP is doing for this country. Let's take the energy sector. You see, in 2016, you all witnessed it. The number of hours we've been here, there would have been power fluctuations, light stuff, and you hear generators. I say the same chorus. Some of them are brand new, silent. Others you hear them, they are old. Is that what we are experiencing today? Before we will say at a year, they might be free. So soon we have forgotten where we're coming from. Just 4 years ago, if you know the number of businesses that collapsed because of light-offs, parents lost a lot of money because you have to buy diesel. Your fridge will get spoiled. All the electrical appliances will get spoiled. You have to buy a new one. All these are costs. These are what we're experiencing today. These are basic things that we don't appreciate. But in 2015, 2016, what Ghanaians went through with stable power, consistent power, so soon we have forgotten. It is not by magic. It's through prudent management. And I tell you, young man, before you leave here, I know you will change. You know what? When this power shortage started, prudent idea by President Mahama that we need big generators, whatever, to start these years, power producers. They signed 17 agreements with different power producers. And they call something take or pay. And the take or pay means if I produce, whether you need it or not, you have to accept it. You have to pay me. That was the agreement they signed. So as I speak today, Ghana pays $2 billion excess power that we don't need. $2 billion power that we don't need. When you go to Ghana Gas, same thing. We are paying almost $2 billion. Same agreement, take or pay, that we don't need. How can you look at this poor country and sign such an agreement? 2 billion. Do you know what $2 billion can do for this poor country? But if you don't pay them, there will be no power. Even the little they have to give you, they will give it to you. If you terminate the agreement, they take you to international whatever for arbitration. You pay huge sums of money. That is what MPP government is battling with. Huge sums of money. Now I ask, if you say Amari, did Amari just come to this country? No. He was led by NDC member. I want to tell you something. Amari did not jump from Dubai to Accra. He was led by somebody into this country. So the shareholders, they don't think of you and me. It is only what they will get. Akosombo, 3 cents per kilowatt hour. They signed agreement as high as 17 cents per kilowatt hour. Yes, the cheapest was 11. That is why the cost of electricity is so high. When you take the banking system, the loans that they give to Ghanaians, the most expensive one after the loans is the cost of electricity. Because some individuals, some greedy Ghanaians, partner with these companies and taking shares at the expense of the poor people. And we have to live with it because they have signed the agreement. No, be proud that you belong to this great party. With all these, paying these monies, what the government has done is that ECG, whatever collection you make every week, not a month, a week, 77% is allocated to the power producers. That is why we have stable power, if you don't know. It's not by magic. That is why we have stable power. 77% revenue collection of ECG goes to the independent power producers. How much is left for ECG to operate with? That is the reality we live with. 23%. 23% ECG, his collection. He takes only 23 because 77 is given to the power producers. You remember, if you have followed me for long, in 2016, I challenged them that your problem, it is not anything technical, it is financial. If you followed me in 2016, I told them, it is not technical, it's financial. You are not paying the people. That is why we are facing or confronted with that power fluctuations and doomsday, as we call it. And when we came and decided to pay them, we are not able to pay all, but at least we get the power. And it's still very, very expensive. Let me tell you, young men and women here, you know a company called E&I? Sometimes our politicians, we have to lash them too. Yeah, when they see, excuse my language today because I'm pissed. When you look at the agreement, you ask yourself, you're paying for them. Honestly, gas. They signed with the company called E&I. The most expensive gas in the world that you pay is Ghana. Signed by E&I, Italian company. How? 9 cent gas. The most annoying part is that Talo, is this Sankofa or whatever, they can produce more oil. Crude oil. They can produce more. But because of the agreement with E&I, they cannot produce that oil and get more gas. How? How can you sign such an agreement if you love your nation? This is what NPP is confronted with. And you see, they will take them, coffin crassy 4 ministers via a domo treble, or coil did a form sign agreement, just like that, without thinking of the country, without thinking of the future of the youth. You commit us like that. And we can't do anything. And, we are afraid to talk. We are afraid to criticize international. I will criticize them. IFC is another bogus world institution. They funded this project. So anytime government will resist, then they threaten. If IFC is for World Bank, it means World Bank is not going to deal with you. That is the gospel truth. Let them see it. Don't give a damn about that. It's my country that we have to protect. Yes, IFC. They supported E&I to sign that bogus agreement against this country. And now our hands are tied. We can't do anything. And you are telling me, fix it. Fix your fucking attitude. Excuse my language. Because it's so annoying. If you have the facts that I have, you kill somebody. Honestly. You will kill somebody. And you wonder how they are able to sign such an agreement without thinking of the future of this country. Because of what they will get today with their family. How long are you going to live on there? It's 3 scores and 10. The rest is all blessings from God. TB Joshua. And he didn't see death coming. Didn't he see death coming? Didn't he? So why are you afraid to die? That you sacrifice your country like that? Young men and women, if you see the agreement, you collapse. But they sign it. It's binding contract. We can't do anything. They have the big muscles. You tiny country with a population of 30 million going to fight IFC is a subsidiary of World Bank. You are going to fight. Where will you be? That is the problem we have. So be proud that all this we have survived. We are moving. It's a great party with great thinkers. Except that sometimes you are foolish ones. In MPP too, when some foolish professors, they can talk trash like a Tifa. Talk trash. No, don't wave me. Now, you listen to me this evening, what I'm going to do to him. No, but if he makes such a statement, why are you here? If he made that statement, why are you a TESCON member? Why? Why are you a TESCON member? Why should you go to the villages and campaign? I say, Professor, my ass. No, it's so painful that you sacrifice your life, defend a party, the party's cause, and you go there, they look at you. They brought from ground, was it political, whatever. Neutrality. If you are neutral, why would you accept this position under MPP and not under NDC? Because you qualify. Professor Tefa, if you don't know his secret, when we won this election, he failed to be a Speaker of Parliament. Why didn't he file under NDC to be a Speaker of Parliament? To be neutral? That's foolishness. Yeah, it's foolishness. You file to be a Speaker of Parliament under NPP party. Yes. Go and ask Chairman Sabosu if I'm lying. Ask Chairman Sabosu if I'm lying. Nipa 5 crore the 4. Please. No, look, they say certain things to discourage us. They make us look so stupid for sacrificing our life for this party. I don't have a problem if you employ NDC. He's a Ghanaian. I don't have a problem. But I don't expect you to come and tell me that the president says, President Akai, I know the man, he won't say that. But if he says that, he'll pay for it. I swear to God. Yes, I know president will not say that. But if indeed he says that, he'll pay for it. Yes. If I show you messages from the youth, the way they are so annoyed, insulting us, you have no idea who caused it. Now, common sense, I will say PhD. Me, you're my degree, my qualification, QBE, qualified by experience. Qualified by experience. Even if President confides in me that this is the kind of public sector I want to leave behind, I will not go in public and quote that the president says, wow. And you know, the way they call them critical thinkers, MPP critical thinkers. You know, my hashtag, Akufo-Addo says we should not be employed. Akufo-Addo says we should not be employed. Our own party boys are ridiculing us because of such statements. And it kills my soul. But ask yourself, indeed I want you to add the, TESCON. 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 You got it. Yeah, little motivation. Little motivation. How can you just go there, work? Oh yeah, they talk as if say MPP, we don't even have educated people in MPP. The statement the man made implies that we don't have educated people in MPP. You know, it's sad. But when you look at all these few problems or challenges we have, I'll tell you, MPP, we have done marvelously well. The agri sector. Look at what we have done in this country. Today, if you don't know, I'm telling you, today, MPP, from 2018 till now, we have trade surplus. Through agriculture, we have trade surplus. Economic students here, you know what I mean by trade surplus. It means when you export exceed your imports. And from 2018, in 2019, the trade surplus was $1.3 billion. Yes. Be proud that you belong to this political party. We have done well. You know, when I hear people talking about fix it and we are suffering in this country, I ask, do these people remember where we were and where we are today? Even under COVID in 2020, we still had trade surplus of $759 million. What if your imports exceeds your export? You are in trouble. It means there's a stress on your foreign exchange. So the dollar, the pound will keep on going up, and you use more cedis to go and buy few dollars. When your exports exceeds imports, there's less stress on your dollar, the foreign exchange, because now we exported more goods into world market than we imported into this country. And the variance was 1.3 billion in 2019. And even under COVID, it's 759 million. We could do better than that, but because of COVID, we know definitely that from 1.3 billion, if not COVID, would have doubled into 2.6. That is the economy that we were running before the COVID. And through a Greek sector. I have a great news for you, but the man says, please, let the world market itself tell Ghanaians. Great news. First in history, what we have done. Maybe by September, you will hear. By September, you will hear what we have done in the agri sector. So be proud of yourself that we've done well. You see, you sit here, anytime there's no food, they'll say there's no rainfall. How many times in 4 years have you experienced the rainfall? And still, there's constant food. Constant food. Prices. I saw some evil man who, when they say Bronsam, Bronsam is not in any way, no spiritual lazy Bronsam, a bogus. But Bronsam, a man who called village women and men, uneducated men and women, put them in a room, coaching them. Wow! This is the kind of people we have in this country. When food is everywhere, in 12 months, we have food. It's not by magic. It's by prudent management. And some NBC guys have enjoyed it. I was talking to Honorable Akando, and he said, oh, Honorable, you praising Ibrahim, now everybody wants to go and buy Jata cement. Praise me small because my rice. I'm producing rice. And I said, oh, I'm Mom Kakreni. We did them who said, then I'll go there and talk about it. But the good thing he said was that, my brother, I produce between 600 and 1,000 tons. Yes. His challenge is that, ask him, why is it that the local rice is more expensive than the imported one? Then he said, which is true, that in advanced countries, developed countries, they subsidize the farmers, but here we don't. And he made one important thing. If you don't tolerate your opponent, you wouldn't know certain things. When talking to me, said, and it's true, that the subsidy, they give it to the small farmers, 10 bags of fertilizer, and they can produce 4 or 5 bags, or 1 ton. The big farmers that can drop or bring prices down, they don't get any subsidy. That is why his rice is expensive. Yeah. No subsidy. So engaging in conversation with him, I said, my young man is making sense. So I've spoken to finance minister, say, let's look at this. This is what the gentleman said. He's very busy, but he has here, no politics. That is why he called me. He respects this brain and I respect his brain. So when he made that contribution, I went to minister and said, oh, let's look at this thing. Because if somebody can produce 1,000 tons and you are not giving him subsidy or help, our prices will never drop. And people, demand and supply and cost, will let them, the poor people, will buy the cheaper things because, Charlie, all I want to feel in my stomach is that I'm full. Yes. So if your local rice, the argument they make is baseless. Your local rice is 350 per 50 kilo bag. The Indian ones and the Chinese are 250, 270. So the difference is either 90 or 70 Ghana cedis. So it's put on it for me, the consumer, to go and buy. Simple. The cost of local rice is more expensive than the imported one. And looking at my pocket and what is it, I will have no choice than to go for the imported one. By choosing to buy the imported one, I am knocking the Ghanaian business out of the business because their product will be there, get spoiled, and nobody will buy it. This is a syndrome in basic principles of economics. A syndrome in economics. Simple. So the gospel according to Ken is that make your farmers comfortable and your trade surplus will triple. That is where you get your money. When there's less stress on the dollar, you can sell it cheap for people to buy and do other things. So we are doing very well. Let's go to health. Health. We sit here. I'm in Parliament for 20 years. This term will be 24 years, which I'll call it off. In 2015, we were there, young man, when they brought these ambulances. Empty. They were empty. You know how much it cost? Those empty ambulances that they brought was $79,000 each. And there were no accoutrements in the ambulance. What do we see today? Now within 4 years, we were able to import 307 ambulances to help. That Dr. Zakaria or whatever should be fired. Yeah, using national ambulance to carry cement. You can give me any excuse from heaven. He has to be fired. That is the only way we can fix this country. Because anything goes wrong in MPP, they will blame Akufo-Addo. So if your drivers are using it to carry cement, do I know any driver? I don't know the drivers there. I know Dr. Zakaria. He has to be fired. Yes. If you really want to fix this country, he should be fired. I have information. When I was going to US, a frantic call came to me, and the lady was saying, oh, my landlady is seriously sick. We want ambulance to take her to 37 military hospital. The driver is asking for 300 Ghana cedis. Yes, I wish. 300 Ghana cedis, ambulance. Binding Sikakoto. And those guys are well paid. They are well paid. Even when they were in training, they were receiving 1,700 each. Yes, I took 2 guys, so I know. They are well paid. Another story, he said, when they got to 37, there was no bed at the emergency ward or whatever. So they couldn't remove the woman, and the ambulance operator said, if he's going to leave the structure for them, they have to pay another $350. Now, the question is not the money. It's not the money. What about if you get another call to go and pick another patient? Which structure are you going to use? You know, we should not just consume information. We should always digest. That is why I digested the Dr. Zakaria's excuse that they took the ambulance was faulty and they took it to. I asked a simple question: how long has the ambulance been here? How long has it been here? Is it part of the 307 fleet? Are you saying the ambulance has been there for 1 year, 6 months? Please tell that to the dogs. They are all kids. So it should be fired right away. 307 ambulances. Then comes to the famous, that small disease. How that small disease has exposed the so-called superpowers. COVID. COVID has exposed America, has exposed Britain, Germany, all the superpowers. COVID, I almost small. Yeah, pandemic. I would have agreed with anybody saying COVID, fix it if we are not under pandemic. That I will agree. If you tell me to fix it, it's not a bad thing. But this pandemic, every country is suffering. You should listen carefully so that when you go, you tell friends, brothers and sisters, parents that are complaining that there's hardship. I am telling you, I'm just coming from America. The hardship is everywhere. You know the trick? I was watching TV, the news, and they were exposing the supermarkets. You know what they do? Now, if this phone, mine is Huawei, don't laugh at me. This phone, this size, is 1,000 cedis. Now they reduce the size and still sell it at 1,000 cedis. So when you go and it's in a bag, you will not even know that it's been reduced. Just to make their money. In America, of all people. I like scones. Scones, I don't know how to describe it, it's like cake. You have raisins, other granules, you know, Whole Foods in my area in West Orange. You go there, scones, $1.50. This time, I went there, I'm going to buy scones. And it's $2.50. And it's so flat. Yes. I couldn't buy scones. I said, how am I going to pay $2.50? I'm used to the $1.50. That is the situation. My daughter graduated from Cornell this last week, Saturday. The condition is that 2 people can come. Myself and the mother went. Second condition is that you need to have your COVID test. Whether you are fully vaccinated or not, you should have your COVID test. You know how much it cost me in New Jersey? $165. I have my receipt. How much do we pay for COVID testing as a Ghanaian? Now, me on say class na wo me home team minim almost system science dey na me nya de biology me nya 7 economics 1 history 1 BP 1 we have 4 ones and a 2 3 biology 7 kill drawing on the team but my classmate, I got a message from him that he's in town or London. He actually begged me to go and write. I didn't want to write. Biology. That's why I respect medical doctors and those in the sciences and the, you know. Now, we took the test on Friday. Went to Cornell, Ithaca on Saturday. I'm coming back on Tuesday. So the 72 hours, I have to go and do another test. You know how much they charge me? The same place I went there. I said, oh, I was here, yeah, we have you on our system. Okay, I'm coming to do the COVID test again. Are you traveling? I say, yes. No, the be technical anyway, PCR. I said, what is PCR? I just did this on Friday for 165. I said, no, you are traveling, you need PCR. You know how much PCR costs? $200. Yeah, I have all my receipts. I had to go to Linden, from West Orange to Linden, to do the PCR test for $200. And you see, when you get Ghanaians coming from outside, they get to the airport and they want to throw their weight about. You pay $200, and when you get here, they ask you to pay $150. You got a problem. You got a problem yourself. You are not telling the whole world the truth. Everywhere, COVID has exposed the developed countries. How much more we, the developing countries? Let me give you some statistics. It's just here. Debt to GDP ratio that my colleagues on the other side are talking about, that our debt to GDP ratio is 76.5%. America, debt to GDP is 98.2%. UK, debt to GDP is 100.98. Japan, about 20 years ago, they were the richest economy. Debt to GDP in Japan is 367%. Debt to GDP, Italy, 137%. Debt to GDP, Belgium is 98. Debt to GDP, Portugal is 167. Okay? France, 101.3. The only country that beats Ghana is Germany, 62.1. Germany is 62.1 debt to GDP. Debt to GDP simply means that in a whole year, what the government, goods and services, value of goods and services in the country, if it is 120 million, America is telling you that their debt is about 116 million. So they have only 4 million. If it is Japan and it's 120 million, it means they are around 500 million against their 120 million GDP. So Ghana, if it is 100 million, it means we are 76.5 million. We still have a room of what? 24.5. Can you compare that to 98.2? That we have 0.8. And they are 100%. Their debt to their GDP is, and France is over, Portugal is over, Italy is over, Spain is over, Belgium is 98. My brother, we are not doing badly. Clap for Akufo-Addo and Kenyatta. They've done well. And you know, most economies, in Europe especially, I have the Germany chairman here, they have not even opened the economy fully. Canada is still closed. One of the richest nations in the world, one of the best managed economy in the world is Canada. Today, there's a shutdown. And when you get to Canada airport, to quarantine, you pay 3,500 Canadian dollars. 2,000. And if you refuse to quarantine, they give you sermons of 3,500 Canadian. Is that what we see here? I saw a pastor talking about how I'm in London. The system is working. Now, we preaching the system, we're going to have working. We're preaching. Relying on God for everything. You have forgotten yourself that your preaching is also the part of the system. Why it is not working. Now they go there. Even what he was describing, Ghana started as far back as March 20th, 2020. Now when you get to the airport, they quarantine you. Before you go home, they will test you. My daughters came, they were Kempiski. You have to test them again to make sure they are negative before they were allowed to come home. Those who tested positive, they visited them, checked their contacts, the people, and also tested those people. This is what the pastor saw in the UK and said the systems work. When we, the great Ghana under Akufo-Addo, we know what time it is. We started March 2020. And you go and stand in London, the doing your exercise and the system is working. Stop preaching bogus to us so that we use our brains to work and not rely on God for everything. Also for but I have created you in my own image. Ask yourself every morning when you wake up, look into the mirror and ask God, is that the image of you? Yes. Before you start going out there and challenge God that you say that you've created me in your own image, then let me see signs. Let me think. And let the system work. It's as simple as that. So if the system will work, tell them you are here. It's an opportunity for you to go and answer them. It is not only two-way street, husband and wife, government and the people. The people also obey the laws of the country. That is why the systems are working. So as a pastor, a priest, preach for your members to abide by the law and stop stealing and rely on God by chanting. You are crazy. You're speaking in tongues, you are crazy. Go and work. I'll tell you the truth. I work. I bust my fucking head here thinking how I'm going to make money and create jobs for the youth. My steel plant, minimum 1,200 Ghanaians are going to work over there. This is what I'm thinking in my head. My wife keeps telling me, please, you haven't failed. You're going to die. And leave this. You have to stop thinking. I am thinking because of you. I feel so guilty standing here as a politician talking to you. We have done a disservice to the youth of this country. Why? My daughter graduated on Saturday from Cornell University. Tuesday, she started working. You, what have we done to you? What is your fate? That is why you hear me screaming at these politicians who don't love the country and they think of themselves. We have to create jobs. And if you can create jobs, I'll tell you, religion is impeding progress in this country. Religion is impeding progress in this country. They don't allow us to think and use our brains to work. We are over-reliant on God for everything. If God wanted us to rely on Him like that, He would have created us just like the birds, who will not plant anything and do anything. Fly in the people, go and eat, and just go back to sleep. But God created us as superior human being over His all His creation. That is why He gave us this. We are not being allowed to use our brains to make the money. Yes, sir. Read Ecclesiastes 10:19. I say, food is for laughter, wine is for merrymaking, money answers it all. Yes. So anybody who will tell you, and I'll pescado, and I'll pay way, hey, pesca. We are going to die one day, that's no question about it. But if we have money and we are sick, some sicknesses, money will save you easily. I have a friend who had COVID from Holland. He was from Holland and had it here. Not that he doesn't have money, but he came for holidays and he got this. He needed 22,000 for oxygen. If I had not paid, he would have died. So money can give you oxygen. That is what COVID at least has taught us. So let's work. Take your destiny into your own hand. And sky is the limit. You gotta work. Work. And what any man has done, you can do it too. It's just a question of time and determination. Whoever thought Agyapong, that poor soul from a sin dumping, today when a disco guys hear my name, they applaud. That's a great guy. I was not born in a rich home. No.
Santa.
You got it, boy. A poor soul like myself, today, you wasted all your time just to come and listen. Look, you can do better than me. You can do better than me. It's just determination. Irrespective of the family you came from or you belong, your determination will change your life completely. And I'll tell you, the right word, I'm not going to use it because they may misquote me. But I tell you, my philosophy to survive in this country. I went to America, they were asking me, how did you make it? I said, in a society with a bunch of ignorance, the few wise men succeed. So be among the few wise men and carry the fools along. And some of the fools will change and emulate you. And will deliver this country. That is it. That is it. So don't be shy of Ghana. It's a great nation that is between you and me that can make a difference. That is why I'm here. I wouldn't have come back because we're late. But I said, look, they look up to me. Let me share this story with them. We want to see that one day you meet me somewhere, that time I'll be old. He said, Honorable, you used to be Asin Central MP. We met at Nut Hall. He said A, B, C, D. I used it, and today, here I am. I'm somebody who thinks of my children's future. I'm somebody who thinks of the future of the youth of this country. It is not my selfish interest, riding in Rolls Royce, what? With all this, what I've said, still is vanity. Yeah, I've said all this. My Rolls Royce, I think for the past 5 years, I've not even started the engine. Now I hear when we were going to start it, it didn't start. But I bought it just to make a statement that I said of the Besumaba. So ladies and gentlemen, what the foundation we are laying is determining or going to determine the future of you. And with this foundation, we are praying that COVID will end this year. In 2022, 2023, you'll see different economy that will shape in your future, that will shine your future. I was talking to the president, I'm saying, Mr. President, you have taught me something. What you have taught me is that if a man is determined to achieve something with perseverance, he will achieve it. That is why, irrespective of the criticisms of the free SHS, you believed in it and had faith, and it has worked. Now, your next step is industrialization. Because it is the industries that will create jobs. So 2022, you see the number of companies that will spring up so that we can absorb students that are coming out of college. Because if my daughter should finish on Saturday and Tuesday as a job, and I have a lot of applications, parents are bringing their awards, begging me, or their children begging me to get them jobs, then I ask myself, what kind of politician I am? I'm not able to make a difference. My daughter's sister, Saturday, graduated from Cornell, and Tuesday she's working. I have to do same as a politician before I die. All I need from you is long prayers, long life. My ambition is to at least create about 50,000 jobs as a man before I die. Now I've done maybe 10% of it. And when I go, my happiness is that I go to my sites, see people working, and I say to myself, wow, I'm Agyapong, a Fumpa, and they have all these workers working for Agyapong and Hon. But I'll continue to do more. So my message to you is that NPP has laid the foundation for you, for your future. It's up to you to take advantage of it. Criticize when it is necessary to criticize. Don't lament every time. Use the lamentation to be creative. Create something for yourself. And one day, you'll be somebody. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can do better. I think he deserves a standing ovation.
TESCON. 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 I went somewhere and he didn't let the people know the one who is, this is 10,000.
All right, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, our father. Thank you so much. On behalf of the president, I will initially accept this on behalf of TESCON, Accra City Councils. Once again, we are grateful for a time like this with you, and your words will live with us. And then trust me, you made mention of the fact that we should be leaders of influence, leaders of change, and we shouldn't just chase the political positions because we want to be called so and so, but because we think we can make a meaningful difference in the life of Ghanaians. Thank you so much, Honorable Ken. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed, let me quickly acknowledge the presence of some former TESCON dignitaries and other people here in present. Ladies and gentlemen, let me acknowledge the presence of Mr. Isaac Asari, Youth Organizer, Agyapong Central, Accra. Let me also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Kofi Tiamwa, who is representing Prince Kama Goma, Deputy Youth Organizer, NPP, United States of America. Let me also acknowledge the presence of Evans Amhe, Communication Director, Agyapong Central, my own friend and big brother. Let me also acknowledge the presence of Tony Atta, who is a former electoral commissioner, UG TESCON, and a rep from the Salam Mustafa movement, SM movement. I acknowledge the presence of Masor Dampare Sechi, former GAPS president, former GIJ electoral commissioner, custodian of student policies of Ghana. Masor, let's see you. All right. I acknowledge the presence of Bafo Polo, former UG PA to Malidia. Polo, let's see you. All right. Kente has left us, so okay, fine. So I also acknowledge the presence of the Deputy National TESCON Coordinator, Miss Rosamond Oben. You call her people's mother. I also acknowledge the presence of my own sister and friend, Barbara Saki, aka Efia Baron, former UG Local. Efia, thank you for joining us. Okay. I also acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Regional TESCON Coordinator, who happens to be a former president of TESCON in this same institution, a friend and brother. Let's welcome Daniel Esampo, aka Mastermind. I acknowledge the presence of Madam Jane Asamoah, who is the Krote Korle Constituency Secretary. Let's welcome you, Madam. I also acknowledge the presence of Miss Renelle Boot President. All right, thank you so much for joining. I also acknowledge the presence of the city, the main campus executive, the Okom is here, Brown, okay, Brown. Okay, thank you for coming. Camford is also here. Okay, and then Derry, Miss Deborah Derry, CEO, the Craft Hub. Derry, where are you? Let me see you. Okay, sure. Thank you for coming. And then Rebecca Derry. Okay, yeah. So those of you with friends from the main campus will be contesting for General Secretary, and then you know how we do it. We support our own even at the student level. So let's do it for Rebecca when the time comes. Thank you so much. As and when they come, I will. Because of time, I will allow few people to join us and then talk to us because of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a man who has served the NPP in various capacities. He's gone through the mill, and he's presenting himself as the next national youth organizer. Without much ado, I invite to the podium Mr. Isaac Agyapong.
Thank you. TESCON. TESCON. Honorable.
Okay, so before General proceeds, the members on the high table want to excuse us. So Honorable Ken and the Honorable member from the UK, NPP UK, they want to excuse us so that we can proceed with the other agenda.
Thank you, Honorable. Indeed, you've said a lot. And all what you've said means that we have a message to break the eight. However, Honorable, our problem will be leadership. And when I talk about leadership, I mean from polling station, constituency, region, national, and even the flag bearership. In 2024, I was going just 2 minutes. In 2024, any breach of common sense in selecting our leaders might lead the New Patriotic Party biting our fingers in tears. If we are selecting leaders from polling station, constituency, region, national, and beyond national, that is even flag bearership, any breach of common sense of delegates, right from police station to the top, might lead us to bite our fingers in tears. Number two, in 2024, we, the New Patriotic Party, we do not need merchants at the war front. When I talk about merchants at the war front, in 2024, we said we want to break the eight. That means we are going beyond the normal cycle. If we happen to have merchants at the war front, we will also bite our fingers in tears. And what do I mean by merchants at the war front? When you are going to war and you have members of your team as soldiers whose interest is to get your ammunitions and sell to your opponent and get money, those soldiers are just merchants at the war front. And we do not need merchants at the war front 2024. People may come to you, the leadership, TESCON. People will come to you. When they come, listen to their message. There are some characters you need not to entertain. When they come to you and their message is, this person is supporting me, this person is supporting me, that person has nothing to offer.
The person should tell you your problem. The person should be able to tell you the solution he or she has. The person should be able to tell you how he or she will implement those solutions. And the person must tell you the final outcome of the solutions he or she has presented. Anything, and I mean anything, apart from this, that person has nothing to offer but Chobwe. And we don't need Chobwe. We need strategies, because this 2020 elections, we sold our message. We sold the free churches, we sold whatever the message Honorable gave us. Look at our performance. Yes, we won. It tells you that for former President John Dramani Mahama to have over 6 million votes with all these efforts, it tells you that it is not only about the message, but it's about the strategy. It is about the strategy. Those who be coming to you, you should force them to come out with the strategy they have. Most of them do not have anything. They will be coming with the names of other people. Avoid those people. If indeed we need to break the 8. And if we do that, I know, we will break the 8. God bless us.
Thank you so much, General. That is why he's called the strategic general, because you listen, if you heard him right, he kept on emphasizing on strategy. And you know, if you're a good soldier, strategy is key. Thank you so much, General. Let me have the rep from the SM movement, if he's available. If not, let me take a word from the National TESCON fraternity. People's Mother, let's have a word from you, a minute, from the National Prophet. Please, because of time, let's make it snappy. But before she joins us, let me quickly introduce Inusan Al-Hassan. He is in the office of the Information Minister. Inusan, thank you for coming. He's also a former Vice President, TESCON City Finance. Thank you so much. All right.
TESCON. Commitment. Okay, so we are going to make it very brief. I am very, very happy about the number of women I'm seeing over here today. I'm kind of uncomfortable putting my mask on. Pardon me. I'm very, very happy seeing the number of women you have here. Some time ago, when we were having TESCON meetings, what you normally see is just about 2 women amongst about 20 people. But now, we cannot attest to the fact. I think the women are even overtaking the number of men I'm seeing in this room. And I think we should clap for ourselves. And I've always said this, and I'm always going to be very emphatic about it. There's no two ways about it. In a nutshell, what Honorable Kennedy said. Being with the NDC was like being with an incompetent man who can't, an impotent man who couldn't make you pregnant for a period of 8 years. You moved on with your life, you met another man, and now you have 2 kids. You expect to have about 5. It's a matter of patience. This man has shown that indeed he's a man and he can give you the 5 children you are looking for. And that is the MPP for you. We had to sanitize the system. We had to take strategic measures. It's like being with an open sore. If you don't want to cry, then we are going to use the minimal approach. I put some balm on it. We are not going to make sure that you are going to be healed from the chronic or from the root of whatever you're suffering from. But with what we've done, the implication is the interim experience we are having now. We are looking at the long term. So therefore, you are going to feel the pain of the head, because we are going to put the sword to the test to make sure that you are getting the right medication, to make sure that whatever it is for the leg to heal properly. So in this case, we are not looking at the short term, and that is why we might have some backlash of, oh, the system is quite hard and all that. And nobody's saying that, but this is how it is because of how the system is and how we are, the approach of healing, whatever it is. There was so much damage. We are trying to do a lot of sanitizing. So it's expected. So it's a matter of patience. For us as TESCON, some of these things might sound very technical. So we have to encourage ourselves so that we can keep on moving on and always be there. Oh, we are there for TESCON. We are there and we are never going to turn our backs to the MPP. What I have for you is that when you even look at the quota of appointment, look at the people who have risen through the ranks of the party. Just check the records. There are so many people from the TESCON fraternity. I think we are even more than 70%. So if you are a TESCON member, TESCON is getting, you are not encouraged that just one day, it will be your turn. Just one day, you can truly represent your people, whatever capacity it is, and you don't feel that is enough encouragement. I think it's so much encouragement. So let's keep on encouraging ourselves, and I know that things will get better. And I love you all. For my women, I love the gender. The women, I think, you want to clap for yourselves again. So thank you so much, and God bless us all.
All right, thank you so much. People's Mother Rosemont Obeng, Deputy National TESCON Coordinator. Thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, let me single-handedly applaud the leadership of TESCON Accra City Council. Let's give it up to them. They have done a very wonderful work because throughout my engagement with TESCON from KNUST 2013 to now, I've never seen a TESCON meeting which is live telecast. You can see, as you can see, for about 4, 3, 5 hours, we are live on the tube. And then we salute our Papa for giving us the opportunity. But let me also congratulate the leadership for a very good job. So this is the leadership of TESCON Accra City Campus. Obeng Roxen, Mr. President, thank you so much. We have Grace Mary Blake, General Secretary. You guys have done a very wonderful work. Mary, where are you? Okay. We have the organizer to be Entry, Eric Asante. Organizer, you've done so well. See me for 5 seasons, okay? This 5 seasons, I'll give it out. Gifty, Nana Mensah as the treasurer. Gifty, thank you. And then Lily Hamilton, Wukom. A very wonderful work. Communications Director, his Lord, Abed Nago. Abed, where are you? Thank you so much. Nasara, Adam, Musa, you guys, you are just a fantastic team. Thank you so much. MPP needs more of this going forward in future. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, as Honorable Ken just exhibited, you know, TESCON AUCC is just more or less, I would say, an orphan TESCON because this constituency, they don't have the certain MP to be one of us. So you know how it feels because those from the main campus, they can fall on one lady anytime, which they do. So, I mean, honorable members, I mean, you know, as Honorable candidate, you can also find a way of enriching TESCON the ACC. I think that would be the right direction. So let's give it up to ourselves for wanting to do that. Okay, let me also give 2 minutes to Mr. the rep of Prince Kamal to also give us some work because he is also vying for the National Youth Organizer position. Let's give it up to him. Okay, then, with all due respect, Honorable wants to excuse us. So, Honorable, we salute you for a time like this. Thank you so much for joining us.
TESCON. TESCON. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Nana Kofi Itiamoa, repping Team PKG, Prince Kamal Guma for National Youth Organizer. So much has been said here that I need not to repeat, but I think we have another opportunity. We're going to go through constituency elections, we'll be going through regional elections, then we will go to national elections. And from what Honorable Ken said and my colleagues who have spoken earlier, I think we all have one thing in common. The advantage we have in our hands is that in my local dialect, the Jayaka Assembly said, "Yen to me, yeah, idea one way, now, yeah, expecting a different results. We need to do new things so we can expect a new results." Meaning, say, we are all MPP people here. If we were to close this door and allow ourselves to communicate to us, we have issues. We have issues from our constituency. We have issues through to region. We have issues to national. But thank God, the opportunity is before us again. We need to choose our leaders. Please, let's choose carefully. Let's choose leaders who think, like Honorable Kennedy Agyapong was saying, some people get nerves. And yes, they get nerves. But Team PKJ, this is not a campaign platform. We only came here to support TESCON, Accra Campus branch. So we employ each and every one of you that when the opportunity comes, let's think through, go through, and make a difference. Let's make a change. So as the youth aspect of the MPP can be strong for 2024 to break the 8. Thank you so much. On behalf of Team PKJ, we present 1,000 Ghana cedis to support your programs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a very generous donation to TESCON ACC. As said by Gabi, it is very important that we support the cause of TESCON, even if it's any institution at all you find yourself in. But then more so, because we are here on behalf of TESCON ACC, we would really expect that to some extent you show that benevolence to TESCON ACC, and we are very grateful to you for that particular gesture. So I'll accept this on behalf of the TESCON ACC executives, but the treasurer should please come for this. Please let's do one more time for him for his benevolence gift to TESCON ACC. So we are edging to the very end of the event. The best thing to do is to first of all say that we are grateful to God Almighty for giving us the opportunity for this particular engagement. But then secondly is to say that we are grateful to the chairman of the occasion, who was the education minister who came in earlier and had to leave for an urgent engagement, and also to our keynote speaker, Honorable Kennedy.